You are listening to Behind the BS, episode 42, with special guest MochiGirl. Enjoy. Today's podcast is brought to you by GamerGoo. Dominate the competition. Keep focused during intense gaming sessions. GamerGoo. What's up, everyone? Mystic Mike here with Behind the BS, Behind the Broadcasting Software, and today's guest is MochiGirl. How are you doing today, Mochi?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I am doing excellent. You're okay if I call you just Mochi? I suppose if I call you
Mochi.
If I called you just girl, that'd come off pretty bad, I guess. Hey, girl.
No, Mochi is fine.
Next question, girl. Awesome. I'll get you to introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your stream, and then we'll just flow right from there.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is MochiGirl. I am a creative and gaming streamer. However, lately I've been doing podcasts and Lego building, so my streams are kind of evolving a little bit as I go. But yeah, I have a lot of fun on stream. Pretty much my streams are very chill. I play chill music, or we have like chill chats about like pretty much anything. And I've made a lot of friends in the streaming community, so it's pretty good to like be able to stream and chat with them when I can. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I've been watching some of your VODs there, and I see like the last few have been a lot of crafting, which is really like, it's so relaxing to watch.
Crafting is relaxing, plus it allows you to get, your creative vibes out. So like, yeah, like, how we have like the day-to-day stressful lives. Yep. So then it's kind of nice to be able to like just sit down and just like do something that doesn't involve a lot of thinking. And, your stress levels can be like way lower. And sometimes I have people that even say, your music puts me to sleep. It's perfect. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. That's great. Works for me.
It's so, because there's some streamers I watch late at night too. And I'm like, and I'm always like apologizing. I'm like, I'm so sorry I fell asleep. I'm like, but it was so calming and relaxing that it's not that you put me to sleep. It's just that the music and the calmness of it just helped me fall asleep.
Exactly. So
I always feel so bad saying it.
It's okay though, because like if you can create that comfortable environment for people, then they're really gonna want to come back and just hang out. So
it's so true. How long have you been streaming for?
I've been streaming for a year now.
Nice. And you've always been on Twitch?
I've always been on Twitch. I tried some like YouTube stuff before, but like it's really not for me. I mean, I don't know if I'll go back into like doing YouTube stuff, because basically what I did was like I do clay figures and clay sculpting. So so on YouTube I kind of created like clay videos, tutorials, and there was like a hype around they're kind of like Disney, I guess you could say they're kind of collectibles. They're called Tsum Tsums. And I turned those Tsum Tsums into clay figures. And that was just kind of like an idea that I had. And basically I did that on YouTube just to show people how to do it. And afterwards, it was like basically Tsum Tsum themselves came to me and said, would you write articles for us? And I said, okay, sure. So then I wrote a few articles, and
that is so cool.
That was a really good experience, actually. So I do like the creative aspect of being able to like write and create your own things, especially because it's one of a kind and it represents you, right? Because it's your style. Yep. So I like that kind of thing.
That's so cool. Yeah, YouTube is such a different monster than streaming. Now, when you did it on YouTube, did you do it live, or did you just do like a tutorial video just for pre-recorded?
I just did videos, pre-recorded videos, because sometimes I would have to even do like the voiceover, and it was like, because my creations were like, they weren't planned out. It was just like I saw something and I wanted to create it, and then I just turned it into something that I would be proud of. So
that is awesome. That is so cool. And it's so awesome that they reached out to you too. And how do you still do articles for them, or you kind of moved on from that now?
I moved on from it because I don't do like the YouTube thing anymore. But I still have connections with them, which is nice. So it's almost like you make friends, you know?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you wish you would have known when you started out streaming that you know now that you would kind of go back to yourself and say, hey, try this or do this?
Yeah, there's a lot of things. When I first started streaming, it was basically because my friends had encouraged me to stream because I was a supporter at the beginning.
Yep.
So all I did was support streams and communities and things like that. And then when I started streaming, I was really nervous, like, because I was like, I didn't have the equipment. I didn't have like state of the art computer. Like I didn't even know like really what to stream. I just streamed things that I enjoyed doing. Right. But I never thought people would be into it.
Yeah.
And then as I got more comfortable with like streaming gaming with my friends' help, then I was like, oh, I should stream creative because that's something I really, really enjoy. And I want to be able to share it. Right.
Yep.
And when I got the feedback, I was like, oh my goodness, I should have done this from the very beginning.
It's so huge. Like I every Friday I sit down with a friend of mine who streams as well, and she does primarily creative streams. And like on Mixer, we have the co-streaming. So usually what will happen is she'll do like some kind of craft or art, and I'll play a game. And then so people have both options. They can come up, they can watch me play a game and watch her do her craft. And me, I keep her video up because then I find it calms me down watching her do her craft at the same time. And sometimes she'll do it kind of themed towards whatever game we're playing. That way it's a really neat feature. And I know Twitch I think they're trialing it with partners right now, the co-streaming. So once you get that down, that'll be amazing.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. Like I would love to do something like that. If somebody was like playing Overwatch and I could just like do play Overwatch figures or something, like I would love that.
It would be so huge too. Like I saw the first time I seen it was his name's 7 of 7. He's a partner streamer on Mixer. And he primarily does nothing but artistic. Like he's like I have a bunch of his drawings hanging up on my wall. Like he just does such amazing art. And I saw him doing it one day. Someone was playing the new Spider-Man while he was drawing Spider-Man characters, and I'm like, man, this is such a brilliant idea. Like it's so, because I like to watch the gameplay, but I also like to watch the art. So now I got both, and I can just pop them both open on 2 different monitors, and I'm in one channel though. I don't have to actually go to 2 different channels to watch it. I can watch one channel, one chat, and don't have to worry about keeping up with different chats.
That's amazing.
It's so awesome.
That's really good. Yeah, that's a great experience. Like that's what I love about the Twitch community is like I can like pull up literally like anyone and watch anything. Like it could be makers and crafting, it could be food and wine, it could be like you know, people gaming or people doing like D&D. Like it or I had a friend that did live streaming of basically he was a delivery person for like a fast food place, and he would do bike streams live daily. And literally I would go in his chat and be like, oh my God, I can play like I Spy here.
Really though?
Like watch people like, drive by and walk by and bicycle. It was amazing because I got to like see where he was, where he worked, and all the, you know, the attractions and the people.
And it's such a cool thing. Yeah. It's so cool because I know another guy does the same. He's a long haul trucker, and he'll do the same. He hooks up his GoPro to his phone, and that's it. He just drives, and you just watch him driving down the road, and he'll talk and he'll do his thing. And then sometimes I think he forgets it's on, and he'll be singing to the radio. And then you're like, hey, so-and-so, you're singing. And he's like, oh, I totally forgot. I've been going on 6 hours now. We're like, all right, pull over. But I think it's cool too for something like that, because then you got that you're not alone. Like, I mean, you're alone, but you're not really alone because you got those people there to interact with you and kind of keep you going. And especially as a delivery driver, like on a bike too, like that'd be so cool.
That is cool. Yeah. Like I thought that was amazing. Like now he does different types of streaming, but when he started doing that and I met him, I was just like, this is the coolest thing ever. Like I'm coming here every single day because I need my dosage. I need my dosage of bicycle streams. Yeah.
It's such a neat idea. I never would have thought about stuff like that.
That's amazing. His name is Lathulu, and he's an amazing guy. So entertaining. His energy is always up there. Like, and the people in his chat are just like really great friends. So
you have to check him out.
That's the environment you want to be in. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
100%. So. It's all about who you surround yourself with in the streaming world. Because we just had this huge conversation yesterday, a bunch of us, because we were saying like you get, and there's not many not many I've surrounded myself with anyway that are like, I always refer to them as crabs, because I don't know if you've ever heard the crab mentality theory, where
not familiar with it. No.
Well, the gist of it is if you put a bunch of crabs in a bucket, rather than help each other out, they'll actually claw each other down and pull each other to the bottom of the bucket because they don't want one crab to get out. So the basis of it is, if I can't have it, neither can you. And we were saying that like we always try to get rid of the crabs and just get out of the bucket and surround ourselves by the people that are gonna be there to help lift you and support you up. And I find like the streaming community probably has a lot more of those type of people than crabs for the most part.
Yeah. I mean, there are people like that, unfortunately, with that mentality. But they will find, if not like right now, but in like the near future, they will find that they don't have that support when they need it and when it really matters. So, I mean, streaming, I believe it's about growth, right?
100%.
It's not about the numbers, but it's about growing yourself because you learn to be comfortable, right? Streaming. You learn to know what makes you happy and what makes other people happy. And in addition to that, you also learn, how to communicate with different types of people from all over, right?
Yep.
So it's about personal growth, really. Like I would call it personal development in that sense.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you see all the communities. Like I love all the communities that are out there. Like I basically grew as a streamer through a community, and they were family to me. And then when that changed, I basically was like, oh my goodness, like I love being in a community. So I wanted to kind of have a community and also create a community. So, I mean, I have a small community, but it's all friends. And when everybody like started joining the community, I was just like, oh my God, these are all the people that I've ever interacted with. Like it was just amazing, So yeah,
it's awesome. And you say small community, but I mean, that's not a bad thing either, because then everyone is tight knit, and then it's only going to grow, but it's going to grow at the pace it's meant to grow.
Yeah, and I don't mind that at all. Like when I see big communities, it actually intimidates me because I'm like, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to fit in here. I'm not sure if I'm just going to get lost among people, because it's like it's hard to like talk to everybody, and then you also feel your own pressure in terms of I want to support everyone, but then you can't get to so everyone.
Many. Yeah.
Exactly.
I have that. So, one of the teams I'm in, they're like this. The Discord server alone is like, oh God, I think we're pushing on like 800 people now. But out of those 800 people, there's still only maybe 100 that actually talk. But then even out of those 100, there's only like maybe 20 or 30 that I really connect with, and we're always supporting each other. But it's the same thing. I feel so bad because I'm like, I like so and so. I like his content, but it's so hard to get in there because either they're streaming the same time I'm streaming, or they're streaming at like 2-3 in the morning. And I mean, I got a month and a half year old now, so I can't stay up late anymore. Well, I'm usually up late anyway, but I'm usually half out or in zombie mode.
Yeah, I can understand that. I mean, your priorities change, right? Like
But then I find like I have the smaller communities where like we have one where they're very selective. Like I think they let like maybe one person in a month, and everyone has to vote on the person and get to know them, kind of thing. And I like that because there's only like 20 or 30 of us, but we're all so tight. And even like some of us, we've never watched each other because it's just same situation. Like we're always at streaming at the same time, but we're always talking in Discord, and it's usually always like, oh, I'm so sorry I couldn't see you. Oh, I'm so sorry too. Oh, don't worry about it. Oh, you don't worry about it either. So how's the family? And then it just kind of goes on from there. And then, but we still have that connection, even though we've never basically watched each other. Right.
So your main focus is not just about supporting everybody as a streamer, you're supporting everybody as a person, right?
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
And that's what networking what a lot of people starting out don't understand. That is what networking is.
Yeah, and that's the thing I try to do when I stream too. Like I don't focus on numbers or anything like that. I focus on the fact that these are the people that are willing to come back and just talk to me, listen to me, and see what I'm doing. Like they don't find this boring. They just want to hang out. It's a space that they feel safe and comfortable. So to me, that's more important than, you know, any numbers that you could ever show me, because these are my friends. These are my family. These are the people that, you know, you have a good day, they're there. You have a bad day, they're there. You know, like
they're always there, like no matter what, rain or shine. And it's like you said, they're a family. Like I refer to everyone as basically their family. Like they're friends, but they're still their family. They bleed streaming blood with me. Or they
exactly. And what really touches me is like even myself. Like I find it really hard to like be able to go into everybody's chat and spend like the same amount of time, right? Like on a regular basis. But I try to, like, even like for the last little while, I was trying to hit up everybody that I hadn't gone into the stream for a while, or people that I hadn't like talked to for a while. But like I go into the stream, they still remember me. And that's the same thing. Like when people come back to my stream, like I don't care if it's a year later, like if I see your name and I recognize you and you're back, I'm like, I'm so happy. It's like meeting a long lost friend, you know, or a family member. Yeah.
I've gotten to the point now where I don't schedule them in. I shouldn't say, because that sounds so bad, but like I'll have like, I know what everyone's schedule is, and I'll be like, okay, so so-and-so is on Tuesday night at this time. So-and-so is on Tuesday night at this time. Okay, so I'll jump into this channel for this and talk to him for a bit, and I'll jump into his for a bit. And it works out that we're all same community. So a lot of times we end up rating someone. I'm like, oh, perfect. Now I can watch you and I don't have to worry about tomorrow night. Now I can focus on so-and-so. And it's just, it's the juggling the time and everything to get to share that support to everyone.
Right. Yeah. And those are the moments that I enjoy most about streaming is, you know, just having that family and that company around you. Like I'm always really thankful to everybody that ever comes into my stream, whether they're lurking or, you know, they just pop in and say, hi, I have to go to bed. I'm like, that's totally cool with me, you know, like. Well,
exactly. I mean, they took the time out of their day just to say hi to you. Like, hey, I'm going to bed. Have a good night. Like that's more than you could say to like some of your IRL friends sometimes. Like I might have like 3 friends that I'm really tight with that they'll be like, hey, how's it going? Like I have maybe one friend who we talk every day, and it's just because we served in the military together and our wives are really good friends. And other than that, I can't think. I probably text my mom more than I do most of my friends, like, or she probably texts me more, I should say.
Yeah, and I can definitely relate to that because, like, for me, even everyone that knows me, they know I collect like emotes and emojis and stuff. So when I go into people's chat, it's literally I talk with the emojis. I talk, yeah. And I mean, some people might find that weird, but like the people that know me, they know. Like it's that's not you. That I don't want to chat. It's that I find this is more meaningful.
That is so awesome.
Yeah,
I love that.
So,
what kind of artwork? Like, sorry.
No, that's okay.
No, keep going.
Yeah, no, it's just, yeah. I mean, I find when people design and pick their emotes, it represents them, right?
Oh,
so
100%.
Like, yeah. So when I am able to support people and I able to like use their emotes, I feel like I'm just spreading, you know, part of them everywhere. So I like what I call it as emote dancing, and people that know me know that. Like I'll go in and I'll spam a whole bunch of emotes and they'll be like, no, she's here. Like, yeah. So.
I love that. That's such a awesome thing because it is so true. I never thought of it that way. Like you are helping spread them around by using their emotes in other people's chats and stuff like that.
Exactly. I know at one point I heard some people, you know, they were talking about how people just go into their chat and spam emotes and they don't like it. Yeah. But if you look on the flip side, it's more like they're just expressing, you know, they're expressing themselves. They're expressing themselves using emotes that they prefer to express themselves with. So, I mean, that's why I love having emotes. Like, and now that Twitch has given us more emotes for affiliates, I'm just like jumping for joy. Like,
oh Nice.
I know.
Funny you say that too, because we had someone come into today and they started using these emotes, and I'm like, whose emotes are those? And now I learned someone new, and I ended up tuning into them this afternoon for a little bit, and I'm like, I never would have heard of this person if that person hadn't used their emote.
Exactly, right? So it's a way for you to connect with people as well. Yeah. So it's almost like a handshake, but it's a more informal type of handshake, and it has like more characteristic to it, because it could be like a sleepy emote, it could be a lurk emote, it could be a, hype emote, like, so.
That's such a good idea. And I like that too. And I don't mind when people spam emotes, like in my channel. It's when they come in and they drop like 50 smiley faces in a row and keep going and going. It's like, all right, you're happy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's kind of like the Mochi way of doing things, and people that know me know that. So
if I see your name pop in, I'll warn my mods. Like, it's okay, everyone. Although my bot picks it up automatically and purges it right away if it's over. Only if it's over 50. I think if it's under 50, it's fine. Anything over 50, because then at that point I'm like, come on. It delays the chat a little bit, especially with Mixer being so new. It delays the chat a lot once it gets up there really high.
Oh, yes. I've actually never been in a Mixer stream. I need to experience that.
Oh, you need to definitely check it out. It's the FTL will blow you away. Like just the real time where like you'll type hi and I'll respond like immediately. Like you hit enter and I'm like, hey, how's it going? Right after. Like it just, because when I started, I was looking at all the platforms, and I started recently restreaming to Twitch as well, just to try to get my brand out there more. And when I first looked at Twitch though, I didn't realize they had a delay. And I thought everyone was just a bunch of a-holes, because I'd be like, hey, how's it going? And no response. And I'm like, okay, well, this guy doesn't want to talk to me. I'll move on to the next one. And I would do, hey, how's it going? Cool game or whatever. And then same thing. And I'm like, yeah, I'll move on to that. And I just kept going on. And I'm like, man, screw this. Twitch is full of like a-holes. No one wants to talk to me, or maybe it's me. And so then I left. And then I found out later on, someone's like, yeah, no, Twitch has like a 10-second delay or something like that. And I'm like, oh, I guess I'm the a-hole.
Yeah.
But knowing that now.
Sometimes it can be 3 seconds, but yeah, mostly it's 10 seconds.
Yeah, that's intense. But I mean, I hear they're working on getting matching, like doing an FTL feature too. So that'll be really fun when it comes out. Because you guys, I'm telling you, when you can respond in real time, it blows some people's mind. Because I've had people come over from Twitch and they're just like, how did you see that so quick? And I'm like, I don't know. It popped up. I said hi.
Wow, that'd be a new world for me. I'm so used to the delay now. I'd literally like just wait, and I'd be like, okay, wait a minute. They won't see that until like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 later. So yeah. That
is crazy. But I guess it makes sense though, because I had one guy explain it to me, Jen Mello, he's from Twitch as well, and he was telling me it's good for when you're playing games like Fortnite stuff, because then you can't get stream sniped as easily, because then people can't see you in real time. They see 10 seconds prior, I guess, than where you actually are. So I was like, okay, that makes sense in that sense, because you see a lot of people come over to Mixa and they're like, they'll stream snipe all the time, and I'm like, oh, that's why, because they can see you real time and they can see exactly where you are. So if they're lucky enough to get in your map, well, they're gonna find you.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Yeah. What kind of crafts are you currently working on now?
Well, I do a variety of things, but yeah, I've been doing experimenting actually with clay sculptures. So I usually do clay figures, but now I'm just trying to do like bigger pieces with clay. So yeah, I kind of alternate my streams between like doing artsy creative stuff to like gaming. But even the games that I play are not like your saturated games. They're more like the indie type games. So even right now, I was
watching your VOD the other day and I can't remember what game it was you were playing. I was going to ask you. Yeah. What is that?
Okay, so Deponia is a story-based point-and-click game with puzzles and challenges. It has a great storyline. The characters are very interesting. It's also very cutesy, so that's also what I'm into. Cutesy characters. Yep. Like, if I don't like the graphics, I will not play the game. That's just how I am. I mean, I might try it, but I probably won't get into it. Yeah. And when I first started gaming, I was really into like RPGs. So this is kind of like along the lines of character development. And yeah, so these games, they challenge you because there's like puzzles and things that you have to solve. So it's almost like solving a mystery while you're playing the game.
While you're playing the game. Okay.
Yeah. And Deponia is basically like a wasteland planet.
Yeah.
So you basically have to like scavenge and look for things and collect them and kind of like put them together to create tools so that you can solve problems. So yeah, I like games like that because it helps to challenge my mind, but it's also very innovative and creative. So
it's also like a throwback to the older games too, where it was actually a challenge to complete them.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Like the different stages, like you'd have to. So a game that I really loved was like The Room, and I played all of them. So I was really into the Room and the escape games. And before I played Deponia, I played a really, really interesting game. Not everybody plays it. It's called Fran Bow. It's kind of a psychological thriller, but with cute characters. It can get really like gruesome and scary, but because it had jump scares in it, my friends were really, really into it when I played because I would like scream and jump and be just mochiness. So I was known for that. Yeah. So I was known for that. So like literally there'd be like this little girl who's like stuck in a world of terror and psychological horrors, and all she really wants to do is find her dear kitty cat. So it's like it's just amazing game. And I wish they would make more games like that, or even DLC for that, because I was like, even when I finished it, I was just like, oh my God, this is such an amazing game. Even though it scared me half to death, I love this game.
It sounds like something I would want to play, to be honest with you. I'll have to get that name. I'll have to get you to send me that name in Discord so I can look it up properly.
Sure. And I've seen like similar games to that, but I haven't tried them yet. So I'm kind of excited to like play more indie games. And
have you heard of Indie Boost?
I have recently, actually.
Okay, definitely sign up. They have a lot of really good indie games. Like I play a lot of them off stream more than I play them on stream a lot of times. I usually just do a quick YouTube video for them and just update it, because that's all they ask you to do. Is they give you the key and they just want you to either submit a link to your VOD or a link to a YouTube review of it, and then that's it. Then they don't care what you do with the game after.
Oh, very cool.
But it's free to sign up, and then they're adding constantly, and they do indie games for PC, Switch, Xbox, and PS4. So you can choose which platform you want it for if it's available for that platform.
Oh,
and it's really, really cool.
I never knew that.
Yeah, and they're in the process of they have an affiliate and a partnership program they just started, and I can't remember what it was with the partnership, but I think you could sell the game through them and get a percentage of it, kind of thing. I'd have to double check on that though. They just recently came out with the partnership program.
I need to look into that. That sounds interesting.
There's a few others too I can't think of right now. I get emailed all the time from a bunch of them for different indie games and indie keys. If I can, I'll find the links, because a friend of mine sent me them, and some of them have some really good stuff, and some of them even have some like AA games on them too that you can get keys for if you're lucky. I'll get the links to you as soon as I find them, I'll get them to you. Sure.
I mean, I'd really appreciate that, because I love trying out new games and new styles of games as well. So
same. Yeah. Especially those indie games. Some of those indie games are so underrated. Like they just, like I played one the other day and I'm like, how did I never hear this game? I had so much fun playing it. And then people were watching it and they're like, what is this? And I'm like, oh, it's blah, blah, blah. And they're like, never heard of it. I'm like, yeah, it's been out for like 3 years apparently. I was like, I never heard of it either. And I don't know how it didn't blow up.
Exactly. Yeah. Some of these developers are just not recognized yet. But then, when you get to try their games, you're like, oh my God, this is like the best thing ever. It's the new thing, Yeah.
Well, that's like, what's it called there? Sinya's Hellblade, Sinya's Revenge. I don't know if you played that. Like when that came out, I'd never heard of that developer. And that game, I've played through that game 5 times now. Like that game is amazing. And now Xbox just bought them and they're like blowing up now. They're going to come out with more games. And I don't know if you've ever played that game.
I've never, no.
Oh, I highly recommend it. It's kind of puzzle based as well. It has an auto difficulty setting to it. So basically, as you play through it, the game recognizes your ability and will adjust appropriately. So if you're having a hard time in a certain part, it'll lower it. If you're going too easy, it'll raise it. But there's so many puzzles to solve in it too, that it just makes it like, I mean, you could sit down and beat the game in like 4 hours. It's not a long game, but
Right.
it's such the way they did the game, because it's all around, and all proceeds to the game go to, I think it's the World Mental Health Association or something like that.
Oh, that's
the whole
amazing.
game is designed around multiple like different types of mental illnesses, and they actually went to like doctors and got like, okay, if someone had this mental illness, how would this affect them? And they got like there's a making of the game video after you beat the game they give you. It's like an hour long. It's so informative. And like the things they do, you got to play it with headphones on. And it's just when the voices start whispering like the ASMR style, and it sounds like someone is like right in your ear walking around you. Like it's so creepy. And it's all based on like Norse lore. It's like Norse lore style game, but it's with the mental illness aspect to it. Like the girl has, I want to say she has schizophrenia, but I can't remember what exactly it was she had, but she was hearing voices, and I would highly recommend it. Like I've played through it like 5 times now, and highly recommend it.
Wow. I definitely need to try that one. That one sounds definitely interesting to me.
And if you have an Xbox, I believe it's free on Game Pass right now too. I think they added it to Game Pass a few months ago.
Oh, okay.
So if you have Xbox and you have Game Pass, it's free. And I think it was only like a $20 game anyway, because they didn't charge very much for it to begin with.
That's not bad at all. Yeah. That's awesome.
Do you have any pre-stream rituals you do before you start streaming? Like anything you do that pumps you up, or do you just kind of hit live and hope for the best?
Sometimes I talk to my friends before I start streaming, because I do have anxiety before I start streaming. Some people would be shocked to hear this, but I do have anxiety, because I'm just kind of like, I don't know if I should stream. I don't know if what I'm going to be streaming is entertaining enough, or if it's, if I have enough energy. Because usually when I don't feel like I have enough energy, I don't feel like streaming, because I feel like I don't want to affect people in a negative way, or in a way that it's not interactive.
When you can't give your 100%, then it's not, you feel like you're letting them down, and then that affects you more than it would affect like your viewers.
Right. And I tend to set to like higher standards for myself. So I have that expectation. So yeah, but when I do prepare to stream, I literally like, I'll work out, I'll like stretch on my bouncy ball. I will like take out creative equipment. I'll actually like set up my whole setup before I do a creative stream, because I feel like that gets me pumped up, excited about what I'm going to show. And then if I do gaming streaming, I pretty much like I start playing the game, I get into it, and then I will start streaming. It's more like I'm kind of like continuing what I'm doing in kind of like a story mode. So yeah, I do that kind of as a ritual. And then, like I said, I talk to people in chats, in their streams. I try to see how their days are. And sometimes, if it's like friends, we can kind of like share good news and bad news, and then kind of like boost each other up before we start pressing the button to go live. Because I always have technical difficulties, and I'm sure everybody else experiences them too. But like, I'm usually pretty anxious about my technical difficulties, because I run my stream off a MacBook Pro, so I don't have a PC. Oh, okay. Yeah. So a lot of the compatibility and priority issues when I stream are just like, oh my goodness, not this again, not the volume, not this. Like I'm just always like anxious about like the performance of the equipment that I'm using. So one day I will feel, confident about it. But as of right now, it's always like I get on to streaming and I'm like, I don't know if anyone can hear me, but please let me know. And then it's like, what is the biggest technical issue you've come across when you hit that live button? So when I do, it's sometimes sound. So a lot of times people will say, you're not loud enough, the game's too loud, or the background music's too loud. And I always try to adjust it, but I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because I'm too quiet, but then I try to like adjust everything. And after a while, everybody's comfortable with it. But I also get the times, I get the times where Twitch just does not work for me. So like a lot of people can hear me and see me, but there are some people that always get like an error when they watch my stream. And I've reached out to Twitch. Yeah, I've reached out to Twitch about it and they haven't been able to help me. So I'm kind of thinking it might be like a codec thing, because someone was saying to me, it might be because I'm running a Mac that I'm running into these issues. But it's strange because it's only for a set number of people that will have this difficulty. It's not everybody that's actually viewing it that will experience it. So
I'd see too what they're viewing it on, like mobile or browser, or I know with that Mixer sometimes the mobile gives a lot of issues, or the PC app gives a lot of issues, but then browser would be like fine.
Yeah, I've asked, and a lot of people have told me, you know, one person will be like, I'm on mobile and I can see it. And the next person will be like, no, I can't see it. And I'm using a browser. And I'm just like, I have no clue. Like,
that is weird.
No. Yeah, I do not know. So
do you use OBS when you stream?
I do. I can only use OBS. There's no other platform that's compatible with Mac that I know of. So
I just sent you a video for setting up ducking. I don't know if you've set that up, if you're worried about your desktop audio being too loud. I just sent you a video on setting up ducking in OBS or Slobs.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you.
The way it works is basically when you talk, it'll turn down your desktop audio. And then as soon as you stop talking, it'll turn it back up. And you can change it to whatever decibels you want. So you could have it so it only turns like a little bit, or you can have it so it turns down quite a bit. That way, the main focus is always your voice and not the background, not like the music or the game or anything. It'll always be your voice when you talk.
Oh, that's amazing.
So that way
I really like that.
That should help. And then you don't have to worry about, okay, am I too loud? Am I not loud enough? That way you set it all once and you just sit back, and then from now on, turn your mic up to where you normally have it. And then all you have to worry about is what you're going to say next.
I like that. I definitely need to try that out.
Definitely. Because it's something I ran into too when I first started. Because I mean, and that's something that it's the learning, you're going to learn as you go. And I did the same thing. People would be like, I can't hear you. Your music's too loud. And I'm like, oh, so then I would turn the music down, and then they'd be like, I can't hear the music now. And I'm like, well, I don't know what to do. What do you want? Like, and then someone was like, oh, try ducking. And I'm like, what is that? And then I looked it up and set it up, and now it's perfect. The only time it kind of, I don't like it is when I'm in a party, because then when I'm talking, it'll turn down everyone else in the party, and then I can't really hear them. And then the chat can't hear them. But then at the same time, I'm like, well, I'm kind of the focus of the show. They're not. So it doesn't really matter unless they're saying something that's really funny. And then I'll be sad, because then when you go to clip it, you miss it because my big yap is going. First world problems, though, right?
Yeah. I mean, of course, there's like the pros and cons of using technology like that, but I guess it just depends on what you're most comfortable with. But I'm gonna try it out and see.
Definitely. I
don't game a lot with like parties, so I think I'm okay. We'll see. You
should be fine. Yeah, and I mean, I could turn it off, because with my mixer, I could turn it off so the party's not included in the ducking. But then I'll just leave everything the way it is. I don't want to mess around too much before streams, because then I'll forget to do it next stream, and then everything will be messed up or whatever.
Right.
But if you're just listening to the music and that, like you'll see in the video, in the opening of the video, where I turn off ducking and then the music just overpowers. Like you can't even hear me talking, and then as soon as the ducking gets turned on, then the music gets turned right down, and then you can hear me talking normal again.
Oh, very cool.
Yes.
Very cool.
So I have to ask, your name MochiGirl. Yes. What does mochi mean?
Mochi is an Asian dessert. It's pounded rice that is sweet and has it can have really interesting fillings like ice cream. So sometimes you might hear mochi ice cream. If you've never tried it, you should. It is really, really good. And it comes in different flavors. So you can do red bean, green tea, mango, strawberry, chocolate, you name it.
Oh my God. I want to try it now. Is mochi, is that it's like a green powder too?
No, that's matcha.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's concentrated green tea, basically. That's matcha. But you can have matcha mochi. So.
Oh my goodness. Sounds
or
really
green tea
delicious though.
mochi. Yeah, it's really really good. Some people can make it at home. Like I've made it at home. Other people will have to like buy it from like I
Specialty
guess like
place.
like a mom and pop's like sponge cake place, because you have to use special equipment to pound it. And you really have to hit it really hard.
Oh, wow.
So a lot of times when people ask me what mochi is, and then afterwards they learn, they're like, "Oh, you're the pounded rice," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's me, pounded rice flour. You got it."
So that's your name, the Pounded Rice Flour Girl.
Yeah.
So why did you go with that name?
Because I find that a mochi really represents me. Because I'm kind of like, I've got a lot of different sides to me, in the sense that I'm soft and nice, but I'm also like very huggable, very squeezable. I'm also very giving and very sweet, according to some people. So mochi just kind of fits me in the sense that it's also like my favorite. So yeah. So when I thought of streaming and I thought of like an avatar and I thought of what would represent me, mochi hit me just like an apple did from a tree. So it was just
Awesome.
Something that fit. Yeah.
Now, if you had to choose a new name, what would you pick? Or could you even think of one?
Oh gosh. So recently I've started doing a fitness coaching thing on the side. So I've been trying to come up with a name. I was going to go with Mochi Fit, but because recent friends and my Instagram and things like that, I've always used Mochilicious. So I think that's what I would go with. Just because it kind of represents the fact that I love food, I love art, I love cute things. It just fits, and people are like, "Oh, mochi, delicious." So then they're like, "Mochilicious." So it kind of just rolls.
It does roll right off the Mochilicious, rolls right off the tongue.
Yeah. So thanks to a good friend who pointed that out one time, because I was like, if you were to give me a different name, what would it be? And everybody started coming up with names, and right there and then it was Mochilicious, and I was like, I love that. So yeah, I love it.
That is awesome. So besides gaming and doing art, what other type of and doing fitness as well, I guess, what other off-stream hobbies do you like, and how did you get into them?
I also teach part-time. I help students on a daily basis. I'm also into cars. So I've worked on cars. I worked on import cars. I also am into like skincare. So facials, I can do facials for people, things like that. I do a lot of DIY stuff. I'm a person that can't sit still, so I'm pretty much into a little bit of everything. I'm even into needlework, so I do a little bit of crochet and needling. And before I got into the clay stuff, I also made jewelry, so sometimes you'll see me do that on stream.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah, so I'm kind of into like different things. I also like to draw, but I'm not very good. I can also write because I love writing like stories and creating characters and things like that.
Well, have you ever thought of doing like blogs or anything like that? Or do you already do blogs?
No, I haven't done blogs yet. I've had people say to me I should try to do blogs, but yeah. I've also had people say to me that I should do like a creative blog where I talk about streaming and I talk about the arts and I talk about things that I do in my life. And
yeah, definitely.
So I'm kind of starting to do that with like my Instagram, thanks to my fitness coach who's gotten me into like this whole world of Instagram and pictures and posting and videos. So I'm learning all of that social media stuff. But yeah, I mean, with the whole fitness piece, I find I'm kind of exposing more about myself.
Definitely,
yeah. Like it wasn't until like recently that I changed my avatar. My avatar literally was a mochi that was happy. Now it's more representative of who I am. So
a fitness girl with cat ears. Do you actually have
cat ears?
Do you have cat ears on your actual headphones?
I do have cat ears.
Nice. I love seeing that though. Like it sounds so cheesy, but it's so cute. Like,
yeah. And I even had a thing where I was going to do a stream. I mean, I can tell you about it. But I had planned to do a stream where I do some Chinese calligraphy because I'm Asian. Yeah. So it's basically like poem writing and things like that. So I kind of wanted to do that as well. And then also a stream where I can teach people like Chinese, like simple things. So that kind of just rolls off the tongue for me in terms of like teaching people, because like that's kind of like my day-to-day thing. Yeah. So I've helped like other streamers with math and exam prep and things like that. So I mean, I'm everywhere. And then I also have a passion for finances. So I started doing a podcast with a friend streamer.
Nice.
Yeah. So we started doing financial podcasts, which I need to kind of get back into. My next one's going to be about budgeting. Because the first one we did was about what is finances and kind of how you can become more healthy with your finances and develop good habits. So yeah.
Do you do that like as a video podcast or an actual like just a audio kind of like we're doing right now?
I did it as a stream podcast off my friend's stream.
Okay.
But yeah, I've been asked to do more podcasting. So I don't know. Some people say they like listening to me talk. So I don't mind it. I mean,
you definitely have a calming voice. So it's definitely, and it's really easy to listen and talk to you.
Oh, thank you.
So definitely, I would definitely get into it. And I'd like to, if you do like, submit it to like iTunes and stuff like that, I'd want those links, because when it comes to finances, stuff like that, I love, and my wife too, we love listening to those kind of things, because it's something that I think everyone needs refreshers on, like at least once a week or a month at least.
Absolutely. So I talk anything about, like I had planned out like 12 months of podcasts basically about finances.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because I kind of live and breathe it, because I have a background in finances and helping people with personal finances, business finances. So even for streamers, like as a, self-employed entrepreneur, there are a lot of things that streamers don't know, especially like even like tax reporting or even, how to like develop, their side business, and things like that. So I go into stuff like that, even personal lending. The only thing I don't do is investments, because the one thing about investments is like the different countries and the currencies and things like that. So, I mean, I'll give an overall in terms of how you can invest, but yeah, I won't advise in terms of what you should invest in.
Oh no, yeah, that's a whole other monster.
Exactly.
That requires that's like a whole podcast on its own. Just
exactly. So, but I have been approached by people in terms of like how to set up a personal budget, or even a business budget. So I don't mind doing stuff like that. I could do that in my sleep, really. And I'm really passionate about it because I find it's a very important aspect that a lot of young streamers don't know about and have not experienced, especially because the education system doesn't really touch upon it as much.
Which makes no sense.
Exactly. Which is why where I am, I'm in Ontario, Canada. Yeah.
I'm in Alberta.
Well, see, so you would understand. So I help students with like federal funding for school, and also post-secondary funding. And then I had many years of experience in the banking industry. So that's kind of where I can help people. So I like doing stuff like that. I mean, even introducing apps that people can use that I've tried myself, like those are the kind of things I like to share. So I treat everybody that comes into my chat as like a friend that I can, kind of like
impart your wisdom.
Develop connections with. If they're students, I try to help them. If they're people that are like trying to buy a house, I try to help them with their finances and how to plan and how to build up their credit and things like that. So
that's so cool. And that'd be such an interesting podcast too, is just financing the streamer edition kind of thing. It's like you said, there's so many things that like, even now, like I was talking to my accountant the other day and she was like, well, technically you're kind of working for yourself. You could be writing off this and this, and you can write off a little bit of this. And I'm like, really? I'm like, I never thought of that. Like I owned a business before, but I didn't really, it was web design, and like that I kind of knew because it felt more like a job opposed to streaming. And not to say streaming is not a job, but it just sitting at a computer for 15 hours coding felt it felt like more work, I should say. Not that, if that makes sense. And then she's telling me all these things. And even like, she's like, yeah, if you do giveaways, you can even write off a percentage of that. And I'm like, what?
Exactly.
Like,
because
I need to start keeping receipts.
Business related. Yeah.
Yeah. I never do that. I'm like, well, next year I know. So from now, any giveaways I do now, I'm like, hey, keep the receipt, put it aside in my little folder over here, and next year I'll be good to go.
Exactly. So there's things like that people don't know about, and especially those who want to be or are already partnered streamers. Like, they're literally like full-time streamers too, right? So I mean, this is like a side hustle. You need to kind of figure out where your cash flow is all the time. So I understand that, and especially because when I started streaming, I saw a lot of people, you know, they post and they complain and they're always like hemming and stressing about like, where am I going to get money to pay rent? And I'm like, where's your income source? You know, that's the first thing that I say to them. I'm like, where is your income source? And if they don't have an income source, I'm just like, well, then you might not want to like concentrate all of your time on streaming. Not that it's a bad thing, but
you should make sure you have
backup.
Yeah.
Right. So
exactly. That's where I'm a little bit lucky, is because I was in the military for 10 years and I got hurt. So I'm getting money from the military. So anything I make from streaming, I usually throw right back into streaming anyway for giveaways and stuff. And then when I found that out, I'm like, oh my God, I could be like getting a bigger return every tax season opposed to owing money every tax season.
Exactly. And that's literally what I do too, is like, if I get any kind of donations or support from people, I put it back into my streams. I put it back into other people's streams. Like I think of it as I'm running a business. The money should be circulating through the business. Like, exactly. That's how it is. Yeah.
And that's how it should be. I mean, that's how you would do a brick and mortar business. You're going to, any money, especially when you're first starting out, pretty much all the money's going back into the business, either through employees or anything you're doing with the business, advertising, setting up more computers, new phones, stuff like that. Like, you're always reinvesting into yourself, basically.
Right. And so why wouldn't you do it differently? You're helping the Twitch economy too, right? So everybody benefits from it overall, because if everybody pools money into a system and there's more resources for everybody, right? So
exactly.
That's how I see it.
Yep. No, I love that.
Yeah.
What would you consider to be your deepest fear?
My deepest fear?
Yeah. And this can be stream related or just non-stream related, or it can be both if you want.
Currently it's streaming with a face cam, because I've never shown my face on stream. I was going
to ask you about that, because I noticed even on your art one, it's always from the neck down. And then I noticed on the game one, I don't think you had a camera up at all.
No, I don't have a camera for gaming at all.
Which is fine. There's a lot of partner streamers, I know on Mixer anyway, that have never ever once used a camera. I think some there's a few I see where they just put a picture up of their, kind of like your animated picture. They'll just put that up in a webcam box and that's it.
Yeah. And I think that's completely fine. It's just that I want to get to a point where I'm comfortable, at least, to at least choose to cam stream. But as of right now, I'm pretty shy, and I don't know. I just find myself, I know actually from my friends and people that know me, is that I'm more kind of like an anime character. I have like so many expressions, and I would just feel like beet red. Like I know I would turn beet red or bright pink or whatever when people are like just staring at me. So it's like, it's one of those things.
And that's something you get over after a few times, but I understand what you're saying. It is hard to do it that initial first time.
Yeah. So awesome. I've been told I'm very anime kind of expression kind of girl. So I can't imagine what that looked like on stream.
Yeah, but see, that'd be awesome though, because I like watching some people when they're so like animated with their facial expressions, because then it adds to the experience as well. Because I'm the same way. My wife will be out and she'll be like, "You're making faces. You're doing this. You're always expressing with your face." I'm like, I don't know. That's just how I am. I express with my face and my hands. Like,
right.
Give me a break.
I love it. I love seeing people do it. I just don't know if I
just don't want to.
I mean, I have enough people that look at me when I do presentations, but like, it's just,
it's not the same though.
Different. It's different. It's a professionalism, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So yeah, like if I'm talking about finances and stuff, yeah, I probably have a straight face, but like when I'm gaming and doing creative stuff and being goofy and people in chat are just saying like whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a totally different, because I think I feel more comfortable in front of the camera than if you were to like, oh, go sit in front of these 20 people and do something and be like, I'll eventually work up. I have more anxiety to do that. I'll eventually do it and get it done. But I have so much more anxiety when it's like talk in front of a crowd that's physically in front of you. But then if you're like, hey, go talk to these 20 people on camera, be like, sure, let's do it. I'm like totally different.
Right. And just the idea of like just staring at a camera and like, it's weird for me. I don't know.
It is. When I first did it, I used to put like one of my son's little stuffies beside it. So then in my mind, I'm talking to the teddy bear, not the camera. So like the camera wasn't there. That's just how I did it to start with. And then people laugh sometimes because I don't know if you've heard of the whole new thing, Streamloots or whatever.
Yes, I've heard of it.
Well, people a lot lately have been playing the card on me where I have to replace it with a stuffy. And they're like, why do you have one so close by? I'm like, no reason. I was like, I just do. It's like, it's what I talk to.
Oh, that's cute.
I think it's the first time I've said that out loud. So anyone who's listening, now you know why I have a stuffy so close by.
The secret's out.
Secret's out. No.
Everybody knows Mike now. Yes.
Oh, well, that was awesome. We pretty much hit everything that's on my list of questions and stuff. And a lot of them I didn't even have to ask you, which I love when that happens.
That's wonderful.
Is there anything that we didn't touch base on that you'd like to touch base on, or anything you'd like to add or talk about before we get your links?
I think that's everything. I mean, if anyone wants to ask me about like anything, I'm open to it. So people that know me know that I'm very approachable. So, and
you sound very approachable. Yeah, it's like I said, it was really, really easy to talk to you. So thank you very much.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I had a great time too. This was a great experience. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm glad. What I can do now then is drop any links you want to share: Twitch, YouTube, Mixer, or not Mixer, sorry, but Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, anything you want to share. I'll get all those links from you as well, and then we'll put them in the description too at the end. And then, yeah, I'll get you to drop all that right now.
All right, I'll do that.
Oh, you can say them right now too, and then that way people can write them down if they don't want to go to the description of in a vehicle.
Oh, okay. Well, my Twitter is kind of different. I'll start with my Twitch again. So it's just MochiGirl. With Twitter, it's at Bell and Friends. That's my Twitter. I don't know if I'm going to change that tag, but that was kind of like my YouTube thing for a while.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's okay. And then for Instagram, I couldn't get MochiGirl, so it made me do like Mochi Creative Art, which is really weird. Yeah, so I think I will change it to Mochilicious at one point, but no, I'll try it. But it's just hard to like get all of your social medias to be like in sync. So yeah.
Yep. If you want a good site, it's called namechecker.com. I believe it's a .com. It's NameCHKR. You can actually enter in your whatever username you want to use, and it'll check like hundreds of sites and let you know which sites it's available. And then for like $100, it'll actually register that username to all those sites with whatever password you want, and then email it to you all the confirmations. Because I had the same problem. I couldn't get Mystic Mike on like any other platform because it was already taken. So then I went to this site and I'm like, okay, well, let's see if Mystic Mike Live is available. And it was available on like every platform. So I'm like, $100 to get it, have that brand registered on like, I mean, we're talking like Tumblr, Reddit, Mixer, Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, sites I never even heard of before. And I'm like, $100, it's worth it in the long run, because now I'm cementing my brand on all those platforms. Even if I never use some of them, like Reddit, I don't think I'll ever use Reddit, but at least I have the name registered there now and it's mine.
Right.
But I would definitely...
Oh, that's a good tip. Definitely a good tip.
Especially if you do decide to change to like Mochilicious or Mochilicious. If you decide to switch to that, you can go there and check and see if it's available, where it's available, and then say it's available everywhere. Then you'd be like, oh, rebranding time.
No, I love that idea because, like I said, I get my short names from people.
Yeah.
So like I've had people call me Macchiato. I've had people like Mochilicious or Mochi or Mochiton. Like it's just been everywhere. So
I bet
if I'm ever looking for a name, that's where I get them from.
Yeah, well, I was so like when I was looking at it, I'm like, is it mochi, like a mochiata, or like a drink, or I'm like, what else would it be, or is it like short for more chi? I'm like, I'll just ask her before I try to pronounce this.
It's okay. I have really close friends who have permanently been able to change my name to what they can use. So I'm just like, this works. It's fine. It's a shortcut.
Perfect.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll give you my links because I'm like terrible with spelling them. I just always bookmark my own stuff.
Yeah, the same way. No, that's perfect. Once I get all those links too, I'll throw them up in the description, and then people can click on them as well, or copy and paste them, or do whatever they want to do with them, basically. And yeah, that is pretty much it. Again, thank you very much. It was awesome, and I can't wait to see your next stream. And hopefully I get to hear your podcast soon on financing.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I look forward to seeing your streams too, especially joining Mixer and seeing what that's all about.
Yeah, definitely stop on by Mixer, and it's definitely a whole different. I like both platforms because they both have. I mean, Twitch has been around so much longer, so it's got a lot more features. But I like where Mixer is like so brand new. Like they're only doing their 2-year anniversary this May, so they're like, it's like seeing like a toddler, and then like I guess Twitch is like, I guess be like almost like an adult, you could say at this point. It's like seeing the two different worlds and like how they're growing. Like it's so fun to watch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to check that out because I think that's really, really cool.
Definitely. So yeah, thank you very much. And thank you very much, everyone, for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember to check her out on Twitch at MochiGirl, not Mochi or Maki.
It's okay. If you say it wrong, I will frown. It's all good. It's all
perfect. Good. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Thanks. Take care. Thanks, everyone.
This concludes another episode of Behind the BS, Behind the Broadcasting Software. Please like and subscribe to be notified when the next episode drops. To find out how you could become a guest on Behind the BS, please email info@behindthebs.net or follow us on Twitter at behind_BS. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. Peace and love.